Welcome to another episode of Low Tech Garage. And for those that have been following along with the Range Rover rebuild, we are doing a little detour today. The main purpose of the rebuild was because of a failed head gasket. And as you can see, we are super close to getting this all back together, ready for its first start. But as you can see up front, we certainly have a few things missing. And as you guys have seen, I've done quite a lot of the while we're in there tasks. And this is another one, but I think it'll really lift the condition of the truck while we're putting it all back together and as the parts are out already. And here are the culprits. We have the factory headlights, and actually behind the haziness, I think they're in really good condition. They're not beat up by stone chips or anything like that. There's no cracks, but as you can see, they are significantly yellowed by the sun here. And we're going to do a fun restoration project. Hopefully it won't take too long, but I think it'll really improve the front end of the vehicle. So let's get to it. All right, so step one, we got to wash the lenses with soapy water. That's just to wipe it down, get any real dirt or grime or anything that could actually like properly scratch the lenses while we're going through the refurbishment process. So just do this. And it's funny, you can actually see these were kind of dirty, so probably worth doing it. And we'll just give this one a quick once over as well. That way we can kind of work on both at the same time. All right. On to the next step. The kit comes with a little foam rotary pad mounted in your drill. Some of you may have seen me do this on our XJ. It's the same kit, but I'll put it in the description below as well. So I went ahead, there's a bunch of these 500 grit sanding pads. It just Velcros right on here. So I've got this nicely firmly attached. And now we just have to come over to the headlight lens and basically putting just a slight amount of pressure at an angle, work our way across the headlight. And really our goal is to slowly but surely remove all of this yellowing that's occurring on the lens itself. And as we can see, it kind of goes over the top here as well. All right, we're gonna flip it upside down so we can get the bottom as well. All right, so this is our first pass. As you can see, there's a lot of like yellow and kind of buildup coming off of it. That's expected, and that's really a lot of the oxidization that's happening on the lens. So we got to wipe it off. You'll see swirl marks here from the 500 grit. That's expected as it is more aggressive on the lens. But we probably want to do at least one, if not two more passes here, just to make sure we get rid of all the yellowing before we move on to the next step. So I'm going to move on and do this a couple more times, and then you can meet me back when we get to the next sanding pad. All right, so I've done a couple more passes. As you can see, this is a little less yellow now, so we can wipe this off. It is certainly extra hazy, which is expected with the 500 grit, but I think we've done a pretty good job of getting majority of the oxidization off with the 500. So we just get all the residue off here. We can move on to the next step of restoration. All right, so the next step, moving on to the 800 grit pad, just like the 500, sticks right on the drill. And we repeat the same process as we did before. just finding, kind of working over the headlight and making these little scratch marks more and more fine. So let's get started. All right, so that's the first pass with the 800 grit. We'll do the same process again. Wipe it down. We're gonna have to repeat a couple more times, just like we did with the 500, to just work on getting all these little micro scratches more and more fine. So just like the 500, I'm gonna do a couple more passes and then you'll meet me back here. All right, and now we're on to the last step of sanding. This is with a 3000 grit, almost polishing pad. So same as before, we want to stick that on the drill. Have a little bit of water, and for this you want to make sure the pad is wet, and then equally you want to keep the headlight wet while you're doing the wet sanding for this. And it's suggested that if this dries out while you're going through the process, just to take a pause and re-wet everything. That's how the sanding pad's going to be most effective. So let's get to it. Get our water, just wet everything down. We're giving you a little sneak peek of the results too at the same time, just from the first pass. So I'm going to flip this over. We'll finish up the bottom side here. We'll rinse everything down. All right, well, that's our first pass done. So we'll flip it back over here for you guys. And we'll just give it a quick wipe down. And I'm not sure if I noted, but with the polishing pads, you really don't need to apply any pressure. Just let the pad do the work, and it will work its magic on these. So it's already looking really good. I see a few areas where there's some light marks still from the more aggressive polishing pads. So I'm probably gonna do one more pass over this, give it another check, and then you'll meet me back here and we'll be on the very last step, which is gonna be clear coating these. Okay, so here is the headlight after the 3000 grit and all the polishing. So we have not put the clear coat on yet, which makes a notable difference. But you can see already this thing is no longer yellowed. We do, in our case, have one imperfection just here in the corner. And as I've been polishing, I realized that this is actually on the inside of the lens. So it's not really much I can do without getting into the whole situation of taking the whole headlight apart, which I'm really not looking to do. But overall, you can see already this thing is much more clear. I need to let this dry just to make sure all the moisture is off of it. And then we can put the clear coat on and you get the idea of the finished product. All right, guys, well, it's been a little bit longer, but I have finished both headlights now. So both have been polished with the 3000 grit. And if you come over here, you can kind of see what they look like. So they're still a little bit hazy, that is to be expected, but really that yellow tint has been completely removed from the lens. And now the final step is to apply the clear coat. There's two coats that we have to apply, and this comes in these nice little packets here. And basically we have to take this cloth out and we will gently wipe without applying pressure with a little bit of overlap down the lens like this all the way across. We'll repeat the same on the other side, and then there's a drying period. Then we'll come back, we'll do the same with the second one. So let's get started. And this is really where the magic happens. It really transforms the clear for you. So where it's a little bit hazy, as you pass this over, you get that factory finish again. I seem to be getting a little streak here, so I'm just trying to mitigate that where possible. For me, that seems to be working with a significant overlap. But as you can see, the transformation is pretty significant. The one thing I will do is I'm going to go across this top angled piece as well. This was pretty sun damaged, so we'll go this way. And now we'll do the same on this headlight. Get some nice coverage here, and then just repeat the process. But you can see even with this first coat, the clarity coming right back, which is exactly what all the pre-work we just did is getting us. You want to be careful, try and mitigate bubbles. If you see bubbles from the wipe, you're going a little too fast. You just need to slow down a little bit. It's so awesome seeing these headlights come back to almost factory. Quite the transformation. So there we have it. All right, so it's been about 15 minutes. That is enough time for the first coat to basically set. We've got the second wipe. We're going to repeat the same process to put a second coat of clear coat on both headlights. So, same process as before, but let's get started. Really the goal here is just to fill in any areas you may have overlooked and also build up the layer of clear coat that you're applying so that it lasts for a long time. I know I did this on my XJ, it must have been at least 6 months ago, and they still look good as new. So I've been very pleased with the outcome from this kit. And especially for the price point of around 20 bucks, you really can't beat it. So there you have it. Now you need to wait about an hour for this to all set. If you're doing this at home, recommend leaving it in the garage for an hour just so that it's not exposed to the elements and anything can stick to it like that. I'm gonna leave these overnight and then we'll come back in the morning, check them out, and we can get them installed on the truck. So I ended up letting the headlights cure overnight. It was a little late last night and figured, hey, we'll just let them set. So I'm back here this morning. Let's check out the finished product and get them installed on the Range Rover. And here they are. And I have to tell you, I am really pleased with how these turned out. Are they perfect? No, but they are about 98%. And honestly, for a truck that you used every day, that's exactly what I'm looking for. So let's go ahead and get these installed, and we'll be one step closer to finishing the truck. And there you have it. The headlights are back on the truck. And I gotta say, they certainly do look great. And it's definitely got me motivated to finish putting this thing back together. So that's where we're gonna wrap this video today. I hope you found it useful. I know for me, it's a good way to save a bunch of money, give your headlights a new lease on life, and also make the front end of your Range Rover look good as new. And if you are new to the channel and you found your way here because of the Range Rover, you are in luck. I am doing a bunch of work on this, and so there are plenty more videos to come. But also, my loyal Jag followers, don't worry. I have a pile of parts I've been accumulating while working on this because it needs some service too, and I certainly have that in the pipeline right after we get this out of the shop. And for the other folks that have come this way because of the other cars in the shop or are just curious what it's like to maintain your own small fleet of cars, you are definitely in luck because I never have a shortage of projects going on here. Please hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell, and definitely drop me a comment. I do my best to reply to everyone, and I also learn a bunch of information from you guys too. I also do my best to do these videos as a premiere, so I am available to chat live with you as the video is going as well. So like I said, I hope you found this informative. I hope you enjoyed this episode, and I will see you on the next one.